Good morning, students. Today I will be teaching you Merchant of Venice. Now, Merchant of Venice story you all must have read in your Lamb's Tales in class 8. So I'll just quickly revise what the story is. Now, in this play you have some major characters and some minor characters. Now, major characters, we have Antonio, who is a merchant in Venice. We have Bassanio, who is Antonio's friend. Shylock, who is a money lender and also a very vindictive or a revengeful man. He is also an enemy of Antonio and Bassanio. Jessica, she is a daughter of Shylock. Then we have Lorenzo and Cristiano. They are common friends of Antonio and Bassanio. We have another character, Portia, and she is a rich lady who lives in Belmont. She has a maid whose name is Nerissa. Now, in minor characters, we have Selenio. They are other friends of Antonio and Bassanio. Stefano, he is a friend. Gogo and old Gogo. Gogo is a servant. He was earlier he will be a servant. He was a servant of Shylock, but later on he becomes the servant of Bassanio. Then you have Tubal, he is Shylock's friend. And now I'll recap the story for you. Now, Antonio is a rich merchant in Venice and Bassanio is his best friend. Bassanio is not a rich man and he was once upon a time a rich man, but he in his extravagant lifestyle has ruined his property and his money, and he now survives on Antonio's money. He has once visited a place called Belmont where he has met Portia and they both have fallen in love with each other. Now, one day Bassanio comes to Shylock asking him to lend him 3,000 ducats. Now, with this 3,000 ducats, he wants to go and propose Portia for marriage. So when he goes to Antonio asking for the money, Antonio says that he does not have 3,000 ducats right now, but he can go to any money lender, take Antonio's name, and he can get the money from them. He can borrow the money from them. Bassanio goes asking for money to Shylock, who is a money lender, and he is an enemy of Antonio. Now, Shylock, being a money lender, lends money to the people who need money, but he charges high interest. Antonio, he also lends money to people, but he does not charge any interest. Now, because Antonio lends money without interest, obviously people go and take more money from Antonio, which has hampered Shylock's money lending business, and Shylock has become an enemy of Antonio. So Bassanio goes and asks Shylock to give him 3,000 ducats. Now, when Bassanio goes asking for help, Shylock takes it as an opportunity to get revenge from Antonio. So he says to Bassanio that he is ready to give 3,000 ducats, but then Bassanio needs to sign a bond, and in that bond he needs to tell when he is going to return the money to Shylock, and if he is not able to return the money, then what is going to happen. So they come to a deal that 3,000 ducats, Bassanio will return to Shylock within 3 months, and if he is not able to return 3,000 ducats, then Shylock has all the freedom to take a pound of flesh from any part of Antonio's body. Now, in the beginning, Shylock tells Antonio to be the guarantor and sign the bond. Bassanio, listening to the conditions applicable in the bond, he says to Antonio not to sign the bond. But Antonio insists, saying that his ships will return before the expiry of 3 months, and he will be able to give Shylock not only 3,000 ducats but more than 3,000 ducats. So he signs the bond. Now Shylock, in the next part of the story, we will see that Shylock's daughter Jessica, she is a girl who is in love with a Christian, Lorenzo, and later on in the play she will elope or she will run with Lorenzo and she will get married. Now next part we will come to Portia. Now with this money, Bassanio goes to Belmont to woo Portia, and there's a lottery of casket that her father has devised before his death, and he has said that the person who will choose the right casket will be able to marry Portia. There are 3 caskets there: gold casket, lead casket and silver casket. In the right casket, you will have Portia's portrait inside the casket, and the person who will choose the right casket with Portia's portrait in it, he is going to marry Portia. And luckily Bassanio chooses the right casket, that is the lead casket, and he is able to marry Portia. Later on, Bresciano and Nerissa also get married. This is what the story is all about. But before their marriage, Portia and Bassanio, they get a letter from Antonio in which he mentions that his ships have wrecked in the sea and he is unable to pay 3,000 ducats to Shylock, and Bassanio now can come and visit Antonio in the court as he will be tried in the court as he has failed to pay the money to Shylock. Now Portia sends her husband Bassanio to save Antonio, his best friend, and she and Nerissa, they disguise themselves. Portia disguises herself as a lawyer and she names herself as Balthazar, and Nerissa disguises herself as a clerk. Now in the court, you will find later in the play that Portia tries her level best to convince Shylock to show mercy on Antonio and pardon him of the money that he was unable to pay, as he has now has become a ruined businessman, and so he should forgive him. But Shylock, in a mood of revenge, he is adamant and determined not to leave Antonio, and he seeks justice. Now when he is about to go ahead and cut a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, Portia tells Shylock that not on a mercy ground as in the humanity, he should suggest or call a doctor to save Antonio in case if he bleeds more. Now Shylock tells Portia that is a doctor mentioned in the bond. She says no. And then Portia says, then you need to be careful. When you cut a pound of flesh, there should be no drop of blood, as you did not mention any drop of blood, and your pound of flesh that you will cut, that should be exactly a pound of flesh. It should neither be more nor less. Now when Shylock sees that the table has been turned, then he seeks justice, he seeks forgiveness, and he says that he does not want any money from a double amount of money from Antonio. Instead of that, Antonio can give him the principal amount, that is 3,000 ducat, and he is going to go with that money. But Portia says that now he cannot give the money and he will be tried in the court for troubling Antonio. and for that, according to the Venetian law, he has to give now whatever money and property he has, that half of the property and money will go to the state, that is the government of Venice will take, and the rest half will come to Antonio. But Antonio, being a kind Christian, he forgives all the money that should come to him from Shylock's side, and instead of that, he tells that Shylock, before he dies, should make a will in which he declares that all his property that is left to him will go to Jessica and Lorenzo after his death. And with this, we come to the end of the story. Now, I will begin with the theme of this story, of this play. Now, the first theme of this play that we will see is about friendship and loyalty. That is portrayed through Bassanio and Antonio's friendship. Next, we have the theme of love that is being portrayed through Portia and Bassanio's love. Then we have love of wealth, which we see through Shylock's character. And lastly, we have appearance versus reality. Now, this we see in different places. We see this in the lottery of the casket, where when the suitors from different parts of the world, they come to have the lottery of casket. At that time, we see that the gold, which appears to be very bright and beautiful, it is actually not the right casket. Similarly for silver, but the casket which appears to be dull and very cheap, that is lead, is actually the right casket. Then we also see it through Jessica. Now, Jessica appears to be a very meek or a weak character in front of her father, but she runs away with Lorenzo. So, we have these four, and we also have justice and mercy that is shown through the trial scene. Now, this is all that you will have in this play. You will have theme and the storyline that I have already said. Now, before I end this video, you should remember that this play takes place in two places. It takes place in Venice and it takes place in Belmont. Now, Venice symbolizes trade and commerce, and Belmont will symbolize love and romance. With this, we come to the end of this video. In the next video, we will be doing Act 1, Scene 1. Thank you, children, for watching.